Hello and welcome to another match reaction on Football Talk podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. This is not the result what I expected. Manchester United defeat Liverpool 4-3 in the last minute of extra time. A game with crazy moments, with the last minute of every half being monumental for the team that scores. We'll discuss the key moments in the game and I'll also present the player ratings for Liverpool. This is a calling show, so if you'd like to come on and have your say or express yourself, the link is in the description. I will get callers on after the player rating. So let's begin with the first half. And to be honest, I think United were by far the better team, aggressive from the opening minute and creating a number of attacks. It didn't take long for the Red Devils to open the scoreline. Great play from Rashford on the left-hand side. He throws the through ball to Garnacho, who hits a shot from the left side. Callagher parries it away, but with not much distance as the ball is still in the danger zone and McTominay is the first to react and hit the back of the net. Now, for me, Kelleher was at fault with that goal. Not entirely, but I do feel like he should have parried the ball away with a stronger hand. The save was quite a tame one and it put Liverpool in danger as it wasn't cleared away. So, for me, slight error from Kelleher in terms of misjudgment of this type of save he should have produced. Rashford has a close shot from at the edge of the box, but Kelleher makes a fantastic save to parry the ball out for a corner. Endo actually hits the back of the net, but his goal was ruled out for offside, which looking back was marginal, but I guess it was the right call. But Liverpool had a moment of fury in the last few minutes of the first half. In the 45th minute, amazing run from Kwanzaa from the defense onto the right side, very Matip-esque. He's in the attacking half, squares it to Nunez, who lays it off for McAllister, and he smashes the ball into the back of the net. Liverpool equalise, and that's not all. We managed to take the lead just before halftime. Gomez makes a fantastic interception on the right-hand side from Bruno Fernandes, hits across towards Diaz. He lays it off to Nunez, who hits a shot towards the goal. Onana makes a one-handed save, but like Kelleher's mistake for the first goal, it didn't go too far. Mohamed Salah reacts first and smashes in a right-foot volley, posting in. One end to the first half, and if I'm brutally honest, the lead wasn't deserved. 2-1 to Liverpool at halftime. It's just the difference was that we had a killer instinct in front of goal. At that stage, I felt confident going into the first half, as the crowd in the second half, as the crowd was silenced, and the momentum is now with Liverpool. Now, in terms of the second half, I feel like we were quite complacent, to be honest. I said at halftime during my watch along, with a 2-0, 2-1 scoreline, the next goal is vital. Liverpool seem to have taken a foot off the gas, and for me, they weren't really showing any urgency in their attacking. Taking off Szoboszlai and Salah certainly impacted the game in the end. We lacked cohesion in midfield, and our decision making in the final third was dreadful. We did have control of the game, but with that scoreline, anything can happen in any moment, and that's exactly how it panned out. Manchester United capitalized in the 87th minute of the game. Anthony gets the ball from Garnacho. Anthony turns and shoots with his right foot, and somehow finds the bottom corner. Manchester United score the goal at the perfect time, similar to how Liverpool did in the first half. Momentum has shifted again, and United audience or crowd were going wild, as you can imagine. Elliott has an audacious right-footed shot moments later that hits the inside of the post. But then Rashford has a glorious chance in the last minute to take the lead for United and to nick that winner. He's one-on-one with Kelleher, but his shot just goes wide. And that's the end of the 90 minutes. Extra time it is. Just like the first half, Liverpool get the crucial winner just before the end of the half. Conor Bradley lays it off for Elliott, who takes a crack from distance and hits the back of the net. It took a huge deflection, but hey, at that stage, who cares? Liverpool take the lead again, and the momentum has shifted. One of my criticisms from Liverpool from the second half was the fact that the decision making in the final third was quite poor, and there's several moments where there was an opportunity to take shots from distance, but the players end up overplaying it, or they shifted from one wing to the other wing and made it very difficult to produce clear-cut chances. So I'm glad Elliott took the chance when it was presented to him. Now, That's 15 minutes remaining of the second half of the extra time. Who gets the final say at the end of the game? Unfortunately, it wasn't Liverpool, it was Manchester United. Darwin Núñez gives the ball away from his own half. McTominay drives with the ball and hits a through ball to Rashford, who hits a first-time finish, low and hard, into the back of the net. And at that stage, I was frustrated. I was disappointed with conceding a goal, but I accepted that the match is going to penalties. So I was buckling up for that. But around the 119th minute, Liverpool take the final corner. There's a mix-up between Elliott and Endo on the edge of the attacking box. But Amad Diallo manages to get touch away from both players, and Garnacho is sprinting through the middle of the park with Diallo and Anthony on the other side. He manages to thread the ball towards Diallo, who hits a low shot, and his effort just about creeps into the bottom corner. Lucky finish, but in the end, the goal helps Manchester United progress into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. That game was already a cup final for Manchester United, so well done to them. Let us know when the parade is scheduled, because this is monumental to their season. They've stopped Liverpool from doing the quad, which was always going to be a difficult task. So this is one, as a Liverpool fan, it certainly hurts, as it's against one of our fiercest rivals. And for them, this is truly the highlight of their season. So they have nothing else to shout about but beating Liverpool in the FA Cup. And to make it worse, Manchester United were awarded with the easier semi-final on paper as they face Coventry City in the next round. So I'm not going to be petty. Well done to United for progressing. We'll be facing each other very, very soon in the next few weeks in the Premier League. That's the game I'm looking forward to, and hopefully we can get some revenge. But let's speak about Liverpool now. Let's not be around the bush. Liverpool were absolutely dreadful today, and there will be a lot of questions on Klopp. Now, I don't want to speak in hindsight, but the first question I had is, why did Klopp put out such a strong lineup against Sparta Praha on Thursday night, where the tie was 5-1? We didn't really need to put in a lot of strong players into that lineup. Players should have been rested in preparation for this game. For me, this game had more weight and more value to that second leg because we were already 1 foot in the quarterfinals. So that's in hindsight. But also today, I also think some of the substitutions should be questioned, as the likes of Szoboszlai and Salah coming off certainly impacted the game. And I'll touch upon this in the player rating. So what we'll do first, I will share the graphics of the team, and then we can discuss each player's performance in more detail. Let me illustrate in terms of the performance ratings I'm going to do. It's not in reference of the team performance, it's individual performance. So I know we lost 4-3 today. So if you're seeing 7, 8, 9 out of 10s for some of the players, it's because they actually performed well individually. It's not in reflection of how the team presented or played together. So just something I thought I'd say out loud because, you know, I'm sure a lot of us are annoyed and disappointed with the loss today. So if we're seeing 9, 8s and all that sort of high score lines or ratings, I should say, for each player, you might question my football knowledge there. So just thought I'd raise that up before we start. So we'll do shout out to Lineup Builder, who have upgraded the design, as you can see, which looks quite nice. So yeah, big up to those guys there. Now, let's start with Kelleher. So I think he had a decent game. He wasn't awful today. The only feedback I have in terms of the first goal, I think he should have done better. He parried the ball. He made the save, but I feel like he pretty much just saved it and it went 1 or 2 yards away from him and it's still in the danger zone. So that's always a risky save. You're always taught as a goalkeeper to parry away from goal. Even if it goes out for a corner, it's out of danger. So get it out of the danger zone. He's doing it that moment. And then the other goals, I wouldn't really say he's at fault. The Anthony goal, the turning shot is quite low. So those are difficult. And he was blocked by a number of players and defenders and United players. So that was always going to be a difficult task. The third goal was that Rashford finish. No, for me, it was a good finish, instinctive finish from Rashford, point blank. I don't think he would have saved that one. And The fourth one was shot low and hard, posting in more or less. So they were not They were not, easy saves as such. They were very well executed shots, and they were all low and hard into the bottom corner. So yeah, so just one of those unlucky performances, I guess, for Kelleher. In terms of overall, I thought his distribution was good. He was commanding in the box. A couple of times he caught the ball, had to drop it, but he still made sure United didn't capitalize. So I think he had a decent performance altogether. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Now, Joe Gomez, for me, had a good game. To be fair, had a decent game. There was quite a few times where in terms of critiquing, there was a few times he gave the ball away, especially when he switched over to left back. I feel like when he was playing right back, I felt a lot more assured having him on that side. Garnacho didn't have a lot of influence on that game. He defended well against Garnacho in certain situations. I actually feel like shifting him to the left back was very impactful to our remainder of our game, because I don't think Conor Bradley had a good performance today, which I'll touch upon him later on. So yeah, I was a bit annoyed with that substitution there, but I think in terms of Joe Gomez's performance today, he had a solid performance. So for him, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Kwanzaa, for me, was fantastic today. Really, really good. Very, very impressed with him today. He hardly put a foot wrong from what I can remember. Obviously, there'll be 1 or 2 months where maybe gave a ball away or positional sense, but provided the assist for one of the goals where he made that marauding run from defense all the way to attack and laid it off for Nunes. Nunes placed it for McAllister. McAllister smashed it. So he helped with the first goal. So not a direct assist, but he definitely played a part, because that's what you want your defenders to do when there's a low block or we're struggling to find an opening. You got to have your defenders do something out of nothing. So every player is valuable in terms of our attacking outfit. And yeah, overall, very commanding, good on the ball, very composed. I didn't think he put a foot wrong to him. I thought he was very, very solid. I know we've conceded 4 goals. Yes, I know people are going to point that out to me. But individually, as his performance that I'm analysing right now, I thought he had a good game. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Van Dijk, for me, had a good game as well. Well, let me not say a good game. Yeah, a decent individual performance for himself. Wasn't really left exposed at times. There's 1 or 2 moments where I feel like he miscleared it. But generally a solid performance. It's just unfortunate that the other goals came from areas that didn't go through him, if that makes sense. So I don't think he was at fault for any of the goals. But yeah, in terms of his performance, I'm going to give him 7.5. I think Kwanzaa was the better defender today in terms of the centre-back pairing. And Robertson, for me, had a solid game as well. He was definitely good up in terms of an attacking sense, really helped in terms of passing. His crossing was good. Set piece was good, but he was talking on the pitch, which is what I like. I've noticed it quite a bit in the last few weeks, where he's more vocal on the pitch. He's trying to be like a second captain on the pitch, where he's trying to get people to position themselves a certain way, or track back if required. Like he's another leader on the pitch, which is what you need, and another talker as well. So yeah, generally solid performance. Can't really think of anything where I feel like he let us down. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10. Endo had a decent game. There was quite a few times where I feel like the midfield got the better of him. I know Maino got past him quite a few times with ease. McTominay as well. So he didn't have the best of afternoons, to be honest with you. And the last goal, I don't want to say his fault, but he was in the mix-up with Elliott, where none of them took charge. Unfortunately, that led to the goal being conceded in the last second of the game. So I don't think it was his best performance today. So I'm going to give Endo 6.5 out of 10. McAllister, I thought he was very good today. I think he was the only player that could really walk off the pitch and say, I produced a good level today. I think the rest did a good job, but you wouldn't say like Kwanzaa did a good job today, but I've seen Kwanzaa play better. But I feel like McAllister produced the same level of performance he has been doing for a number of weeks. He's so consistent. That's what impresses me about McAllister. Hardly has a bad game. He'll have the odd one here and there, but in general terms, he's very consistent, and he kept the ball moving for us. First half, United were in control. They had more possession. They were more. I say they had a cutting edge on us, so they were better, easy on the eye. Second half, because we had a winning lead in the opening second half. We were better. We had more control, and then that led from McAllister to be better in possession. So that was down to his play as well, trying to set up the players around, but at the same time threading neat balls and trying to open attacks or develop attacks for us. So for me, I had a good game. So for me, it's an 8.5 out of 10. Drop a comment. Let me know if you think that's too high. So Bosley, I thought had a decent game. I think he was better in the second half, where he was more involved, driving the ball a little bit more, using his pace. Had a couple of moments where he took a crack towards goal. There was a couple of times where I feel like he should have taken a crack towards goal, but it was just a bit gun shy. I know United were quite defensive, so I think he probably just looked at the opening to thought, I can't really find the gap, so then decided to play it off to another player. But he's slowly getting there, slowly finding his rhythm. Just not quite there yet. But arguable to say maybe he should have played against Sparta, so he's more fresh for this game. But I feel like he does need a bit of match fitness as well, so that's probably why he played. So for me, I think he had an overall solid performance. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Mohamed Salah, I know he scored the second goal for us in the second half, but he didn't have much impact on the game, if I'm being brutally honest. Just wasn't involved, hardly on the ball, ineffective. Obviously, he had touches here and there. I wouldn't say completely inactive. But after that goal, I don't feel like he got involved as much. Decision making in terms of his final pass was lacking today. Had a couple of shots where he didn't really put any finesse or power onto it. Created an opening for himself, but didn't really believe that he was going to trouble the keeper. So I thought he had a bit of a quiet afternoon, despite the goal. So this might seem low. I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10. And for Darwin Núñez, I think he was quite ineffective today, to be fair. The first goal, I guess, is an assist from him. So you'd say, he should be boosted in terms of his ranking. But I don't think he was effective at all. He was one of the players that I highlighted to say maybe we should take him off in the second half at some point. Maybe bring on Dan's, because Dan's, for me, can press really well and can have an impact further up top. You should probably say Gakpo, but I feel like Gakpo is lacking a bit of form, so that's why I would have gone for Dan's as a like-for-like replacement for Darwin Núñez. But yeah, he had one of those afternoons where I think decision-making was weak. And this is not just him. I think it's with Diaz as well, but I might as well elaborate now. So there were several moments, especially in the second half, where Diaz and Núñez will be interchanging passes, and they're in the middle of the box, and they have an opening to shoot. But for some reason, they always pass it to Salah wide on the right-hand side, and you've kind of just killed the momentum. So there were several opportunities where the shot was there to take from distance, but they chose to play it out wide, try to score the perfect goal against a low-block team like Manchester United. Because let's be honest, that is how they play. You've got to take cracks towards goal because Onana's not the best of goalkeepers. He's quite erratic in terms of the shot stopping. So even if he saved the shot, it could be parried away back into the danger zone, and then you can have one of the players reacting and scoring off a rebound, for example. So I don't think we utilized that strategy that much. It should have been deployed a lot more, because trying to score that perfect goal, you'd give it to Salah, he'll cut in, provide a lofted pass towards the near post, and then it's either gone for a goal kick, or the player's missed it, or the players has made contact to it, but it's gone straight at the keeper, because none of our players are designed to have like such an aerial presence where we're all banging in headers left, right, and center. Obviously, Darwin Núñez is capable of doing that, but that is not really his strength. His strength is to play on the ground, use his raw speed, and get at defenders on the shoulder. So no, I don't know what it is. Is it because it's Mohamed Salah, there's too much respect, or you have to pass it to him? They've got to play their natural game at times as well, especially when you're a striker. If you're in a position where you've got the ball at the edge of the box, you see an opening, take a shot, see what you can do. Because if you believe in your instinct, if you believe in your shooting ability, you're going to score at some point. So yeah, I think decision making, it wasn't just that. That's just one phase of that decision making. There were times where they're just playing the wrong passes, not looking at the right options on counter-attacks where there's like 4 against 2, and then you've ended up giving it to the wrong player. It's things like that. It was all over the place today from an attacking point of view. Not just Núñez, I'm talking as an attacking collective. So Núñez's performance, despite the assist, I don't think he was impactful today. So I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. And for Luis Diaz, out of those attackers, I think he was probably the bright spot, if I'm being brutally honest. For me, he was the one charging down that left wing, cutting in, trying to make things happen. But yeah, his decision making let him down as well. Where he cut in field, there was times where I felt like he should have taken a shot, but he's giving it out wide, or he's cut back in, or gone the other way and giving it back to Robertson. So it was just these little key details where I don't feel like he had the awareness around him. You know, with good players, they say like they've got eyes in the back of their head. He doesn't really have that, in my opinion. He doesn't have that in his locker where he can thread through balls when you least expect it. Like a lot of his passing is quite predictable. So yeah, not to disregard his performance too much today, but I don't think he was great. But in terms of our front three, I think he was a better and more persistence in terms of his playing, because he was on the ball, he's trying to make things happen. And Dalot had a torrid time. Like Dalot was kept busy today. So no, in terms of his performance, I'm gonna give him a 6.5 after. I think he just edges it over Salah. So that's my ratings for the first 11 guys. Drop a comment if you're watching live. Let me know what you think. In terms of man of the match, it's going to be McAllister. I don't think the only person who was close to him was probably Kwanzaa. But yeah, I'm going to give McAllister the man of the match. So yeah, that's my player ratings. I'll also add the substitutes, and yeah, we can talk about them as well. So let me just have a look. So we have Elliot. Let me just check who the subs were as well. Because I know Simicast came on. Who else came on? It was... let me just have a look. Came off with Joe Gomez in the end, didn't he? So that was around extra time. So he didn't really have much game time. But we'll add him on. So where do we begin? So we'll go for Elliot for Szoboszlai. So I'll put the players in their correct positions very shortly as well, guys. And then Elliot there. And then we've got Bradley for Robertson. Bradley for Robertson. And then we have Gakpo for Salah. So we got Gakpo there. And then we have Simicast for Joe Gomez. So Simicast for Joe Gomez. And then Bobby Clark on for Diaz. So we put on... Oh, sorry. Bobby Clark for Diaz. So let's put the players in the right position. So he goes here, he goes there, which is fine. That's the back four. Yeah, I think Clark pretty much played on the left side anyway, so we'll leave it at that for now. So where do we begin? Let's begin with Elliot. So Elliot for me had a bit of a weird afternoon. Definitely tried to show urgency in his play. I can't say he was bad, but unfortunately there were moments in his game where I felt like it led to mistakes. So the last goal was his, because Endo looked like he had the ball, and then Elliot tried to come over and take it from him or try to take charge, and in the end none of them did anything. And Diallo got the touch and then nicked the ball away from both players. So that was quite costly. From a Liverpool point of view. And then he had that effort just before, I think it was just before full time, where it was like a right foot effort, swerved where it hit the inside post. So that was like a positive moment. Scored a goal, huge deflection. But in general play, he wasn't the best today, in my opinion. Unfortunately, that last moment is going to be the one that sticks to my mind. That was costly because Eno should have had the ball and we could just lit, and then Elliot could have just gone a bit more to the right side, created some space, and maybe Eno would have passed it to him, and then Elliot could have delivered across inside the box. But that never happened. Unfortunately, led to a goal. So for Elliot, I'm not trying to sound too harsh, but it's not going to be a high ranking from my part. So I'm going to give Harvey Elliott a 4 out of 10. Let's go with Bradley. So I'm going off based of how many minutes they played, because it's not fair to me to just go straight on to Bobby Clark. He only played for like 5-10 minutes. So, all right, unpopular opinion. I said it during my watch along. I thought Bradley was awful today, and I don't think he's been that well, or he hasn't performed to his level, which I guess he's set the benchmark quite high because he was magnificent when he broke through. But in the last few weeks, I think he's dropped par. He looks tired. He's not as energetic. He doesn't even look strong as he was earlier on in terms of his tackling. Today, for me, it was awful. When he came on, Garnacho for me was not influential in that game. Joel Gomez had him in his back pocket. Didn't feel like Garnacho was going to do anything. But then when he was up against Bradley, he just turned into like Martinelli all of a sudden. Like, it was just going past through Bradley. Bradley couldn't really get much of a toe in. Made 1 or 2 tackles, but it was more from blocks rather than one-on-one duels where he's made a good tackle on him. So I thought Bradley was poor, and I think his decision maker was quite poor. Made some good passes here and there, but generally I wasn't happy with Bradley today. And I don't want to sound too harsh because he is a young player, but I'm reviewing of performances that he's presented for the team since he's broken in. So if it is not in comparison to that, then that is what I'm measuring to. So call me harsh, but that's just how I feel today. So for me, Bradley gets a 3 out of 10. I thought he was poor today. Speaking of poor, let's have this conversation about Gakpo. Where was he? I know he came on, but where was he? He had 0 impact in this game. And he's quite lucky that I'm even doing a rating for him, because whenever he comes off the bench, he's so disappointing. And I don't want to hear the excuse from, Gakpo fans to say that, oh, he's not playing his right position because he's on the right side. But he's not showing me anything. He's not really showing any urgency, or even if he's like on the right side of the attack, like even if he's got the ball, you still play possession football. You can still try and make things happen. You might not be as brave or aggressive in that play because it's not your natural position, but he's still not doing anything. Like, he was very hardly on the ball. Maybe next time I'll do a heat map of how many touches he does, because that will paint the picture for us a bit more in detail. But no, didn't have any influence in that game whatsoever. I think it's been very disappointing the last few weeks. I thought the goals in the Europa League would have helped his confidence. I don't know what it did. They didn't do nothing for him. It just helped him get a few goals in his tally, but it doesn't really reflect his performance right now. So a lot of people prefer Dan's instead of Gakpo when we have to select an attacker from the bench, and rightly so, because you get an effort from Jadon Dan's. He tries his best, like he's more effective in that final third. When Gakpo came on for Salah, I was like, on the right side, and he just looked ineffective. Shifted him over to the left, didn't do anything there. Shifted him in the middle. We played him in different roles. He didn't have any impact whatsoever. So that is a big concern for me. Now, I know I'm disappointed with the loss. I'm not going to go very reactionary, but there's already fans that are saying that, we may need to consider selling him in the future because he's not Liverpool material. I'm not going to go on and say that, but he needs to step up. He certainly needs to step up. He's not showing his level, and he hasn't done it the last few weeks. So for me, that's quite disappointing. But in terms of his overall rating, it's not going to be high, of course, guys. I think it's probably the lowest rating I've given a player all season. It's a 2 out of 10, and that's me being very generous. I'll be honest with you. I could give him a 0, could give him a 1. I'll leave it at 2 for now. And then Bobby Clark, unfortunately, I can't rate him too much. He didn't have too much minutes. He didn't really have too much of an impact. So for Bobby Clark, I'll give him a 5 out of 10. That's as an average rating. And it's the same for Simicast. Had a few touches there and there. Pushed Antonio off the ball once or twice. But yeah, didn't play a lot of minutes. So didn't really have a huge impact in the game. So unfortunately, I can't really elaborate too heavily in terms of their performance. But yeah, that's my player ratings for the first team, as well as the subs. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Just got a few comments here, so I'm going to go through them right now. First comments from Richard. He says, "Hi Ozzie, why didn't close up shop at 2-1 and 4-3-2? Why are we open and playing attacking? We need to have game management to improve and stop goal going in our end." That's a very fair point, Richard, especially at 2-1, because we were in control of the game. So that was the moment where you place another defender, or you just play a bit more on the defensive side. Maybe put in McConnell, where you end up having like a double pivot, because I don't think we had a lot of defensive options. Let me have a look at the lineups, or the bench, I should say. So I've just got the graphics. So on the bench, we had Conor Bradley and Simicast. So we don't have a lot of defenders, unfortunately, on the bench. But no, I get your point. Like, even if we added one of those players, like a Conor Bradley, for example, or we just play a back five, like just get one player to play deeper, and even if that's Endo or whatnot, like I definitely get your point. We should have managed that game a lot better. We should have been a bit more defensive minded, play that higher possession football, and play the game out until that final whistle. But no, honestly, this is what I said earlier on in my assessment when I'm presenting the key moments. I think we got complacent in the second half. We just weren't on it at all. We were in control, but we didn't really show urgency. There was a moment in the game that really frustrated me, where I think the United crowd were on the referee because there was 1 or 2 fouls that weren't given their way, and then there was glaring boos all around the stadium, which is obviously as expected. It's at Old Trafford, and the players just kind of stood still, or they were playing with urgency, and all of a sudden they just started playing very slow football, like they were embarrassed to continue. Like, that really frustrated me, and I showed that annoyance when I was watching the game during my watch along. After that, we just lacked urgency. We didn't really go for it. If you're gonna attack with purpose, and we weren't even doing that. We weren't really defending with purpose or attacking with purpose. So it was very, very frustrating from Liverpool in the second half, where we got the lead just before half time. That's the one where we're like, you know what? It might be our day. Let's just keep going. Let's just see how it goes. But yeah, we didn't capitalize at all. So yeah, poor game management, definitely. I question some of the selections as well, because when Bradley came on, I feel like that really affected the game. Garnacho had too much influence after that, and at some points he looked a bit untouchable. And I'm not throwing shade because he's a United player, but I don't think he's that great. He's a good young prospect, but he shouldn't really be having that kind of influence against Liverpool, in my opinion. So yeah, I was disappointed with sort of that kind of performance. But hey, it's a frustrating one. It's one we've got to take on the chin. Yeah, one we've got to learn from, I guess, but it is what it is. Richard also says, hi, Ozzie and LFC fans. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam to you as well, Richard. How are you all doing? Ramadan Kareem to all Muslim brothers and sisters. Now it's the trouble now, many fans. Yeah, I've been doing this for like the last few weeks. Now I've got to just do it, and it's the trouble now. So, yeah, it's a bit annoying. But yeah, Ramadan Mubarak to everyone else. Ramadan Kareem, as some would say. I was actually fasting when I was doing the watch along, so I was trying my best to not swear, not to get too aggravated. But yeah, hopefully I did a decent job there. Richard also asked, where was Gakpo in the game? What is Nunes doing for Rashford goal? Elliot doing for Diallo? Yeah, you hit the nail on all those 3 moments there. Where was Gakpo? I don't know, Richard. I said it earlier on. He was MIA. I know he was brought on, but where was he? Didn't have any impact on the game whatsoever. Nunes, I'm not defending him in that sense. I think that was just tiredness and fatigue. I think when he was dropping deep, he just kind of did the routine pass where you put it in the middle. He wasn't really looking, and then unfortunately gave the ball away. So that ended up being costly. So as a professional, you should be always alert at all times. So yeah, that's not good enough for me. And Elliot, I don't know what Elliot was thinking. I think Elliot was trying to take charge of the ball. What he should have done was let Endo drop that ball, take it from there on, and then get in a position where he can kind of create an opening where maybe he can put in a cross towards the 6-yard box. But yeah, that wasn't the case. So yeah, very, very disappointing. Jake Kismet says, bless, bro. You know, walk on. Yeah, bless up, bro. Hope you're well as well. Richard has just said Liverpool need the injured players back quick for Europa League and Premier League. Yep. So Alisson and Trent, from what I know, will be returning just after the international break. I've heard Jones and Jota might be back mid-April. So that's like just under a month away or around a month away. So yeah, we need those guys back, certainly, because Jota, for me, out of all the players, he's the one that we're missing because he's the real gunman in our team. And, you know, I was saying earlier on about decision making. He's the one where if he finds half yard, he's taking a shot. He doesn't care who's around him. So we need those type of players in our team. But yeah, hopefully we get them back soon. Hopefully, you know, when they return, we're still in a good position because right now, I hope this doesn't impact our season. I don't think it will. We play United in a few weeks' time, so let's hope we, you know, get some sort of revenge. Might be a strong word, but it's United, so I have to use revenge. So yeah, get some revenge on them, and yeah, that win would mean more to me than this one. I know we're tongue in cheek in terms of saying quad talk and all that stuff, but I want to try and win the Premier League. So for me, if we get that win, that's a huge boost for our campaign. And then everyone just saying best up to each other. And then Dan says, Ozzie, could Fernandes have seen red as well? Yep, I mentioned in my watch along, he definitely should have got a red. That challenge he did, I forgot who the player was now, but it was a dirty challenge. No contact on the ball was made. He was already booked. I think he should have been given a second or should have been sent off. And then moments later, a similar incident happened, and I think we get a booking. So, yeah, very, very frustrating. But you're right, Daz. I think Fernandes should have got a red card in the game. And Richard said this is the best time to beat Scum today. Yeah, it was because they haven't been in great form. But having said that, I've seen United fans on social. This was their Champions League, FA Cup, all the finals you can think of, all rolled in one. This was the game for them. And for some, this was the game that would ensure Ten Hag stays on as Manchester United manager. God forbid, not Liverpool manager. Stays on as Manchester United manager. So I guess we've helped him kept his job a bit longer now. But yeah, this will have shut them up because they're not really competing for anything else. Now they're in the semi-final. They're playing Coventry City, which on paper is an easier tie, and that's no disrespect to Coventry. It's just because they're in a different league from us. Yeah, very, 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 very annoying. And then, yeah, big up Frank. Okay, Dad said Ozzie, Diaz, Nunes, Gakpo injured. Oh God, I heard about this, but I didn't know the extent. So Cody has a twisted ankle. How on earth has this guy got a twisted ankle? What did he do to get this twisted ankle? Diaz felt his groin and hamstring for Nunes. Oh gosh, that's that's not. Oh yeah, that is not good. That is not good. Let's hope it's nothing too serious because we've got 2 weeks off now, so hopefully the players can rest up and recoup. But that's not good news at all. And then Richard said we need to beat Scum at Old Trafford next time. Yeah, we do. We got them. What is the date of the schedule of the fixture? Let me have a look. So I think it's just after the international. Is it it's 7th of April? So yeah, just after the international break. So literally 3 weeks. 3 weeks on the bounce. Same kickoff time, 3:30 as well. So yeah, they're currently 6th for a second. So yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we can get the win. It'll definitely help with our campaign. And yeah, that's all the comments. I can see we have a call in the back, so I'm going to bring him on. And it's Jay Kismet. Jay Kismet, how you doing, bro?
I'm okay, bro. I'm okay. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. The floor is yours, my friend. What would you like to say?
I just wanted to say that playing too many guys on Thursday maybe had an effect on the team second half. I think we sort of lacked energy. Say Endo, he looked a bit sluggish.
Yes.
Virgil played on Thursday as well. But I think Nunes not really looking sharp, not 100% fit. I don't think so.
No.
Maybe him and Szoboszlai could have started on the bench, see how the game went. And then second half, twist it, put them on, I think the fans were happy with the lineup. The lineup looked real good. One of the best lineups we've had in a while. And I think that was more for the fans. I don't know. I think also that normally when we go into games, we're sort of losing 1-0 at half time. And Klopp goes into the changing rooms, probably has a go at them, gives them a few slaps or whatever he does. And they come out firing. I think the second half, we sort of came out firing, but we didn't make that third goal. We allowed them to get it to 2-2. So I think this second half was really totally different, like what we were sort of used to, And I think that was because we were leading at half time. But I'm just disappointed in the result. Actually, I just feel United not really a good team. They had like 15 minutes first half at the end, 10 minutes at the first half at the end. Second half also. I think maybe our players were tired mentally and physically, And I think that's what Klopp was arguing with the guy, doing an interview after the game.
Yeah, I saw it.
And you know what social media is like? They're all I've read a lot of comments about he's not really a likable guy and this, that, and that. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, this is just, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we've got a few weeks now where we're not playing. You can look at it in two ways. You can sit there crying and getting sad, depressed. It's one game. Okay. Cup for a semi-final place and stuff, but it is what it is. We just need to concentrate on the league game there. See what we did wrong here and do the total opposite next game.
No, well said. I think it's because it's Manchester United, and obviously, our rivalry. I'm sure we have a lot of friends that are United fans. It probably stings a bit in terms of the defeat today, but you're spot on. I don't think it's not a strong United team, which is probably why I think it's not just a defeat. Well, for some people, it might just be a defeat. For me, it's just the performance. I think the performance was such a letdown today. We made some of their players look world class. Like Manu, who for me is a good young talent, but he looked like we made him look like he was unbelievable today, in my opinion. And then Garnacho as well. I think when Gomez switched over to the left and it was Bradley, I think Garnacho just turned into Martinelli. Like, he was just going through different mazy runs on the left wing. And we just gave them, I don't think we gave them respect. I just feel like we gave them too much space and too much time on the ball. Normally, we're a bit more aggressive with our pressing. That was non-existent for me today. And our decision-making up top was so bad today. We were overplaying it too many times. There'll be moments where Diaz and Nunes have the ball in a central position and they've just passed it to Salah, who's literally by the byline, instead of actually going for the goal. And with Salah, there's always like one or two moves that he can do, and it normally ends up in the keeper's arm or in the back of the net. So I don't know if there's a hint of too much respect that they have to always pass it to Salah, but I feel like they need to take up their own their own way to try and make an opening for the team. Because if you're a striker, if you're an attacking player, you need to go off by your own instinct. You can't just always pass it to that one player. And if you're in a better position, you should capitalize and try and help your team and try and score a goal. So it was very, very disappointing. And I mentioned it earlier in terms of the selection. I was very surprised that Klopp went strong against Sparta Praha on Thursday night. It made no sense to me whatsoever. It's not like and this is not disrespect to Sparta Praha, it's not like it's a big team where you still feel like you got to field a decent 11 just in case, they might do some damage because they've got players that can really hurt us. Decent team in terms of footballing ability, but with 5-1, you've pretty much secured the win into the next round. So I think that was a bit premature from Klopp to field such a strong team. The likes of Salah ended up playing 90 minutes that day. That shouldn't have been the case. For me, I feel like that affected him in the game as well. Szoboszlai played about an hour, from what I remember, in that game as well. So I think one half would have been justified because obviously he's fit, but he's still finding his rhythm. And I feel like these two players that came off today really impacted our whole game, because I feel like when they left, we lacked any cutting edge in the attack, especially when Gakpo came on, who's been ineffective in any position that he's playing right now, to be brutally honest. And Szoboszlai, even though he's not in his typical form right now, he still shows a bit of sort of athleticism and is a bit more dynamic in comparison to the other players. So he might drive with the ball here and there, but it still creates like a counter or some sort of opening for when Liverpool are attacking. So yeah, so for me, I was very, very disappointed overall in terms of the performance. I saw Klopp's interview getting frustrated with I think he was a Scandinavian journalist. So yeah, he wasn't pleased with him. But in terms of the next fixture, so the fixture we have against United is at Old Trafford again, and it's in 3 weeks' time. So how are you feeling about that fixture? Is it just, forget this game and focus on that, or do we need to make sure we're playing a different style of play to make sure we're managing the game better way? If we've got the lead, play for like a 1-0 or 2-0, or just continue how we normally play?
Well, we don't lose games really, bro. I think this loss today was like one of them ones. We don't lose. We win.
We don't lose often. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're humans, they're not machines, the guys, the players. So we've got to look at it realistically. We lost to our biggest rivals. I think that is probably why it hurts probably more than normal.
More, definitely.
And I also feel if we had Trent and Jones playing today, the Scouse side of the team, they would have been probably more up for it. But mental exhaustion, like you was on about Salah playing like nearly 90 minutes. Endo as well.
Yes.
Endo second half, he was a bit slouchy, Endo's been a top play for us, no doubt. But I just feel second half he was sort of slouching because I think he played Thursday, then again today.
Yeah.
But look, bro, if we had a choice between which game you want to lose, this one or the league game, I'm choosing this one.
Yeah. That's a good way.
Okay, it's cost us a place in the semi-final. Okay, I understand that. But For me, it's all about the Premier League.
Agreed.
That's the number one, you know, and everything else is like a cherry on the cake, you know, the Europa League, if you win this as well. So
Yeah.
the injury side of it, I think one thing
Yeah.
I'm happy about when Klopp leaves is the only thing I want Klopp to say 100% is that the medical staff, fitness regime, or whatever it is, goes with it. I
Yeah.
think you've seen this season, for example, the amount of injuries we've been having out of control.
Yeah.
Players maybe rushing back too much. You know, fans, they want to see the players fit starting,
Yeah.
even though they might not be 100% fit. Yeah, like a half fit Salah is better than this guy or whatever. But realistically, I don't think the guys get enough rest time.
Yeah.
Sabotai was rushed back. Remember, he was rushed back, then he was gone again,
Yeah. Yeah.
and now he's come back again.
Yeah.
I think when you ask the players, they say, "Yeah, I'm ready. I want to play." You know, sometimes the responsibility needs to be taken by the medical team and say, "You know what? Another 2 weeks, we're not going to risk you." So it depends on the player. The player's going to always say, "Yeah, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay." You know.
Yeah. No, it's it's a fair assessment. You ask any professional player, they're not going to say they're not fit. So if
Yeah.
they're like a 40% fit, they'll say, yeah, I'm ready to play. So in terms of the Klopp regime, I do understand your point, because I think the way we play under Klopp is pretty much one way, where we play, let's call it heavy metal football, because that is what it's been described. So that obviously requires a high energy level, but then also that ends up having wear and tear on these players' bodies as well at the same time. So that's what it has in terms of long-term effect. And like you said, when these players, even if they're out, and it's normally hamstring injuries, it's always muscle injuries as well. So that comes to playing so much in terms of a certain style of play. So we're not a high possession football team. We're more heavy metal, counter pressing, all guns blazing. So that will have an impact on certain players. And with Sabozla, you mentioned that was a recurring injury, the same injury, and it's happened 2-3 times already. I remember Bajtic playing 2-3 games in the Europa League, and then he went missing again. So it's just one of those ones where, in terms of Klopp's regime, we've always had a lot of injuries. So hopefully that's something in the upcoming sort of future, where we've got a manager who has different ways of winning games, where it's not always one way, and it's like using the ball more often rather than always, using your energy, because you can always use your energy, but it's all about having the ball, having possession of the ball, and that's the way to kill teams. So yeah, I definitely get your point on that one. We'll probably touch on the next manager, whoever that is, in the future in more detail. But J.K. Smith, thank you for coming on. Did you want to say anything else before we go?
No, I just feel that you're going to hear a lot of nonsense in the next few weeks
Yes, we will.
over this game. It's so weird how a guy, certain people will say, "Oh, this guy's been great. This guy's been great," and all of a sudden he's not so great.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's like Klopp, for example. I've heard some people just moaning about Klopp already. I'm like, come on.
Oh, have you? What have they said today?
Oh, I just Klopp. Okay, he shouldn't have played the guys on Thursday. Let's get that right. 100%. That's right. He shouldn't have done that. I think he just wanted to keep that winning routine in check.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I reckon he played that team. That's the only reason. He didn't want us to lose on Thursday at home at Anfield, where we don't lose, and go into this game. So that's the only reason I can say that he did that. But I just feel, you know what fans are like? They'd start like straight away jump on Klopp's back.
Yeah.
We don't lose games. This is the first game we've lost in a long time.
In a while,
I
I
think since the Arsenal game.
Yeah, Arsenal, yeah.
So even in that Arsenal game, we had a poor second half. So, but I'm looking forward to the next game at home to Brighton. Then we've got Sheffield United in the middle week. So then we've got the United away game. I would show, if I was Klopp, I would watch that game together with the team when they come back from the international break and stuff, and say, okay, that was the problem then. We're going to do this in the next game. But at the end of the day, we've already got a cup under our belt. We've got a quarterfinal in the Europa League and a title race to deal with. This is like 2 less games now, 2 occasions, because they're going to be big occasions going to Wembley semi-finals
True.
against. It would have been Coventry, maybe.
Yeah,
Everyone's fought in Coventry now, anyway.
exactly.
But that's like sort of two less occasions off our calendar that might sort of benefit us in a certain way. Two less games, you know.
Yeah.
But I just feel quickly that in the Klopp team, the midfield need legs. I think defensively they paid the standard defense system. Maybe the wing backs push on more than the average sort of fullbacks. But I feel
Yeah.
a Klopp midfield has to have legs where
Alex.
they can run and non-stop running. And I think it's been a culture shock to Sabotsalai. Hence why
Yeah.
his bro, he slapped him in the face. He ain't run like this in his whole life. At Leipzig,
It's true.
he was doing assists, goals, this, that was his type of game. But since
Yeah.
he's come to Liverpool, Klopp said, "Okay, lad, we need some hard work now," and it sort of
Yeah.
affected him. So maybe next year he'll be sort of mentally already prepared to handle that sort of workload. But actually, he'll be a new coach. So it might be a different sort of gameplay for him.
Different system. Yeah. No, it's a fair point. I definitely think it has been a culture shock for Sabozlai because I don't think he's traditionally played as a number 8. Like he has to an extent, but it's been
Mm-hmm.
more so with more of a freedom to kind of like a free role or traditionally as a
Uh-huh.
number 10 and he can play on the wings as well. But yeah, you're right. He hasn't he hasn't worked as hard as he has since he's been in the club team. So in the early season, part of the season, he showed good signs. I just feel like the impact kind of worn him down a little bit. But yeah, I think in some situations where it feels like you're down and out, you always got to look at the positives, and I think you've highlighted it very well in terms of look, there'll be less fixtures for us to play, so we can concentrate more on our title charge. Also, the Europa League coming up, so we've got things to look forward to. Like today, it was United's Cup final. I know they're on to the same final, but
100%.
it was
Mm-hmm.
their life or death sort of situation because if they'd lost today, they've got nothing to play for because they have an outside chance of even getting anywhere near 4th or 5th place in the
Mm-hmm.
league right now. They're like 8-9 points away. So there's no guarantee they might even get European football next season. So this was their chance of holding on to something else to say, we're involved in some shape or form. For Liverpool, we're fighting for 3 honours. So we're still, competitive. We're still trying to make things happen. We're still trying to add more trophies to the cabinet. So yeah, I think that's a good way to wrap up. Jay Kismet, thank you for your
So
contribution as always, bro. And
you're
yeah, I'm
welcome,
sure we'll
bro.
be speaking very, very soon.
Sorted, bro. Take care, yeah.
Take care. You too. Thank
Bye.
you. So yeah, that was Jay Kismet, very level-headed fan there, always speaking sense, and it's always nice and refreshing to hear a different perspective because if you're on social, you will get all kinds of perception, you get all kinds of reactions. He mentioned Klopp, where people have done him. Like me and him have quite frankly have said that, you know what, maybe he shouldn't have played a stronger team on Thursday. And that I think is justified criticism because we've analysed both fixtures and said, you know what, it wasn't necessary. We're 5-1 up. We weren't really going to lose that game 4-5-0. So it was very very unlikely that situation was going to happen. And look, if we were losing in that game and we needed players of quality to come on, those first team players could have come off the bench rather than start the game. I would rather they have played half an hour rather than start the game from beginning and then play like an hour or 70 minutes, or like Mohamed Salah, they end up playing the full 90 minutes. So I don't think that was the right decision to play Salah for that long. I think hour maximum, and then he would have been, I think, fitter today because I feel like he lacked a bit of fitness. And I know he's fasting as well, so it's during Ramadan. It's difficult to be doing that and playing at high intensity in the professional game. So I feel like his minutes should be managed a lot better, in my opinion. And then I've seen, so Klopp is one I've seen certain players being scapegoated. Gakpo will always be one that I think us fans will have an opinion on, which, I've been very honest in terms of his assessment, but it's on a game-to-game basis rather than just saying, this guy's pure rubbish, game out of the club. I'm not really that sort of fan. So game-to-game, I think recently he's been quite poor. He's been lacking confidence. I thought the goals he scored against Sparta Prague would have uplifted him. Maybe he was expected to start, and that's probably why he didn't have that same level of intensity when he came off the bench. but that's something he lacks in his game. He's not an aggressive attacker whatsoever, in my opinion. So yeah, obviously Gakpo, even Nunes as well. Nunes is getting a bit of shade from what I saw in social media. Yeah, it's reactionary fans. You gotta take all of these sort of feedback with a hint of salt. And I saw people said FSG out as well. Not the time. It's not the time to talk about FSG. That's irrelevant to what happened today. But yeah, look, we gotta stay positive, guys. It's one game, like Jay Kismet said. We lost Arsenal. That was like a few weeks ago, quite a long time ago. We hardly lose as a team, so we're down when we draw games. So when we lose, it really hurts. We really feel it. So I'll just say enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully on to tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. Just forget about this one. International break as well, so a huge breather from any upcoming football for Liverpool. So yeah, I think the players will have time to reflect, and we've got the same fixture in directly 3 weeks' time, so we can analyze the game in terms of, as in Klopp and the boys, they can analyze the game to see what went wrong, what they should have done, because I think we could have wrapped the game up in the full 90 minutes. We were 2-1 up, comfortable, just didn't hit that next gear to get that third goal. If we had got that third goal, it would have killed the game, in my opinion. But we got complacent, we lacked composure, didn't show any drive whatsoever, and they capitalized with a moment from their substitute, Anthony, turns and shoots. Very rarely scored. That's his second goal of the whole season. So yeah, very, very disappointing on that card there. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and we've got to just take it on the chin. I just got a final comment here from Daz. Is it on TV? That one, Ozzie. So the Manchester United versus Liverpool is on TV. It's on Sky Sports in the UK, and it's a 3:30 kickoff. So same time. It'll just be on a different channel. Today was on ITV. It'll be on Sky Sports in 3 weeks' time. So yeah, definitely one to look forward to. I'll most likely be doing a watch along for that as well. So yeah, make sure to look out for that. And yes, that's a wrap up for today, guys. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Richard. Thank you to Jay Kismet for coming on the show, and also Daz for your comments. Appreciate your support as always, guys. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. As I mentioned, it's international break, so there won't be as many shows as I normally do next week, but we still have lots of content coming up. So starting from tomorrow, I'll be doing a match week 29, Premier League review at 10 p.m. UK time. And on Thursday, I will resume my player career mode on FC24. So yeah, we'll be doing some FC24 content during the off season. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. So until next time, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.